past 2 years that we are so focused on the hostages, and rightfully so, and painfully so, I think it's fascinating to see how the Torah tells us how one must treat a hostage. But before I explain that, let us all say together, chapter 100, thanking God for the hostages that have been released and praying to Hashem for all the hostages to be released. And all of us who are hostages to be completely released from this exile. So chapter 100, Mizmor leSoid Arila Adonai Kol Haaretz. Ivdu es Adonai b'simcha b'elefanav b'nana duka Adonai Elohim. Hu asanu v'lo anachna ama v'tzay marisa b'yishor b'soid haratzrois b'silo. For those who are difficult in saying it in Hebrew, you're welcome to take your English Tehillim and say it in English. Let us give some tzedakah, and I want to go into the subject. Torah portion this week starts with Kitei Tzela Milchama. If you go out to wage battle with your enemies. And then the Torah says, V'shaviso shivyoy, and you will take captives. Particularly, there's a beautiful woman there. And at that time, remember, the fight was like face-to-face combat. They would be seduced by those women instead of focusing on the battle. So using children and women as fodder, nothing new by those immoral individuals. So there he sees a soldier, loses his head, and he sees a beautiful woman, and he would like to marry her. Says God, you want to marry her? Fine. But you got to treat her properly. So first you have to take her into your home. You have to take care of her. But you have to take away the seductive parts of her. She should be dressed normally, not in her seductive garments. Her beautiful hair, make sure that they're not so attractive anymore. She should be crying for a father and a mother for a month. Now commentators say, what is this crying all about? She's crying, how cruel can her father and her mother be? How do you take a young woman, just send her into war to be killed or to be seduced or to be taken captive and a hostage? This is what she is crying. And she sees the difference between how her own parents behave and how the enemy, the Jewish enemy, behaves vis-a-vis their captives. That's what she is crying. Says the Torah, after a full month of having calmed down from your excitement, and you still want to marry her, in other words, not anymore because you're so seduced by her beauty, but you just find her somebody you want to make your life with. You can take her, but you have to marry her. Can't abuse her. And then she becomes your full wife like any other wife. In fact, she has to convert to Judaism. Now, conversion has to be willing. Says the Torah. Interesting. Now, after that, you change your mind. You say, no, I made a mistake. You know what? She's your wife. You got to properly divorce her. You cannot take her as a slave. You cannot abuse her. You cannot sell her on the slave market. You have to be respectful, and you can only send her away with a proper divorce. The reason? Because you maltreated her in a certain way. How? Just by taking her captive. Think of what we see, how those barbarians behave. And the world wants to compensate them by giving them a state. And with all the niceties that comes along. No, not them, but the others. They're all the same. They all celebrated on October 7th. They all gave out candies. They all cheered watching these hostages, unfortunately, being dragged. Like, don't want to go into big gory. But this is the Torah telling us. That's how a Jew behaves.